cat comes first. Yeah, and if they don't come first, they cry about it. Yeah, the cats come first. Okay, Camtasia says it's going, guys, so let's go ahead and get started. This is my weekly Here to Help You webinar. I think most everybody in here has been to one of these before, but for the people that may be watching through the replay that are new, I do these calls once a week on Monday evenings at 8 o'clock, and there's no pitch to them. There's usually nothing for sale here. I do these just to give you guys some sort of a demo, or maybe play a video or a product demonstration. Then I answer questions I got in emails, and I'll take your guys' live questions after that. And like I said, I do this just for you guys, just so once a week y'all got a chance to ask me live questions and take advantage of the knowledge that I have, and hopefully you put it to good use. Tonight I've got a little small demonstration on a way underutilized traffic method. Not that it's not used at all. There are some people that use it effectively, but there are some people that try it but then give up on it really quick. I'm going to go over that tonight with you guys, and hopefully you'll see the light and you'll start using this, because it does definitely work. So let's go ahead and get our presentation loaded up here. All right, so what we're going to talk about tonight is getting targeted traffic through image sharing. Now, like I said, this is a traffic method that's been around for a while, and not many people use it. And the ones that do use it, like I said, they either try it once and give up, or the people that are successful with it have found out the method to making it work. And that's what I'm going to give you guys tonight, is the method that actually works. Okay, like I said, this method for traffic's been around for a while, and the old method was to get Google to index your images and to get traffic through people finding your images in the Google image search. And like I said, that's the old method that people tried when they first discovered that Google would index images. And the way they did that is by using alt and title tags. It was easy, and it still is, to get Google and other search engines to index your images. If you're consistent about using the alt and title tags in your images, eventually, especially if you're running some sort of a blog or some sort of website that you keep it updated fairly often, you will start to see your images being listed in the image searches. But it was just a theory that the people that was searching for the images would find your images and then visit your website. And like I said, it was a theory, and it did work for a little while as far as getting some traffic. People would find your images, and they may click through to look at the page that the image was on, and get a little bit of traffic like that. But the truth of the matter is, it never really panned out to be any kind of significant traffic, other than the little bit of link to reference for a little small SEO boost. It really didn't do much for you. It turned out to be more or less the people that were searching for these images through the Google image search and the other search engine image search were actually looking for images that they could just use on their website. They didn't really care about the site that they came from, or like I said, most of the time they didn't ever even visit them. They just copied the image to their hard drives and then uploaded it to their sites, and in some cases even just direct hot link to them. And that caused a lot of controversy there too, because it used to be, back in the day, where bandwidth for websites was pretty expensive. It's really cheap now. Most of the time now you can get an unlimited bandwidth hosting account, and having somebody link to your images and suck off part of your bandwidth's not a big deal anymore. Although it's still not good courtesy to do that. You never should do that. Direct hot link to somebody else's image in one of your blog posts. It's better, if you're going to do that, to try to get their permission, or at least in the post, put a reference that you've linked to their image. And they still, even though you do that, they may still come back and ask you to take it down, because they'd like to have the traffic coming to their site for their images. And a lot of times they've paid for these images and they don't want them being used like it start with. But like I said, getting images indexed other than the small SEO boost that you get out of it, which like I said, it's a very small SEO boost. It's not really that much help in getting traffic. Like I said, if you're depending on your images that you've got on your blog to be, found in the image searches, like I said, most of the time the people that are going to find them there are wanting to use the images. They're not really wanting to visit the website. They're just wanting to use them for their own purposes. But the thing about it is, images can and still do generate traffic if they're used the right way, and that's wherein what we're going to talk about tonight is the right way to use images to get traffic. And how we do that is through image sharing. Now, you may have heard of image sharing before. There's lots of sites where you can share images with, and we're going to talk about tonight the proper way of setting that up where you can start to get real traffic from it if you're consistent with it and stay with it. So let's go over a little bit about how image sharing works. Through image sharing sites such as Flickr, PhotoBucket, Fotolog, and there's probably about 12 or 15 really top image sharing sites. You can create accounts that will allow you to upload, which is basically share your images, and each of these sites allow you to set up a website link in your profile. The people that are interested in any particular niche, the niche that you're in, that you're uploading images, will find those images, and if they find them interesting, will visit your profile and most likely visit your website, and they may even contact you. Some of these image sharing sites, they have a way of sending messages to the person that has the account, and you can also link to your Facebook account and Twitter and things like that. And like I said, you may even get contact from some of these people that are coming and looking at your images over on the image sharing sites. So to be successful with it, this is what you should do. You need to create a new account for each one of the niches where you want to start sharing images. You want to upload lots of images targeted to that niche, or at least closely related. Now, what I mean by closely related is it may be, that just to give an example of something to do with newborns or babies. You may want to post images of toys for toddlers, or clothes, new clothes, that type of thing, or just pictures of babies that you find interesting, funny pictures of babies. As long as it's kind of closely tied into the same niche, just try to keep the images related to whatever the niche is that you're trying to promote. Add at least a good one-sentence description to each image. Occasionally ask a question in the description, and this helps a lot with getting people to contact you if you do ask a question. And the kind of questions that you could ask are, like, have you seen this? Can you find? Where have you seen this before? Just questions that would generate curiosity. The key thing is to be active and consistent about it. Don't just share once and then quit. Share, at least a couple times a month. Get quite a few images, 20, 30 of them or so, and open up your account with those, and then just a couple times a month go in there and share another 5 or 10 images. Now here's a few tips to help you with making this even more successful. When you're filling out the profiles on the image sharing sites, make sure you completely fill them out. The second thing I'd recommend is, people like to connect, with real people, other flesh and blood. So use a real image of yourself on the profile. Don't use an image, that's in the niche as your profile picture. Although I've seen that work in some cases where, it's a really funny picture or something that's, attention grabbing. I've seen that work in some cases, but for the most part, in most niches, it would be better off if you just use, a picture of yourself that, people could associate with the account belonging to a real person. You can find lots of images over on public domain books and magazines. You can get those usually at your local libraries, or you can go to archive.org and find a lot of them there. You can create memes out of some images, and if you don't know what a meme is, it's where you take an image and you write a funny saying on it, and it gets people to share the image by having some sort of a funny saying on it. That's really popular on Facebook. I'm sure you've seen lots of images shared on Facebook that have some sort of little funny, catchy phrase written across them. You can buy cheap images on eBay. Sometimes you can get whole CDs of images, especially if you're in like a bird, some sort of bird niche or animal niche. You can find, whole CDs of images over on eBay that you can use for this. Now, the thing about it is not only can you get targeted visitors, but you may also be able to attract experts in your niche for their potential JV partnerships and product creation. It was a week or two ago I was asked about how you could contact experts in a niche, and this is one way of doing it. Not only are you establishing yourself in that niche, but while you're on those websites, the photo sharing sites, you could search for other people that are sharing the same types of pictures, and you could get to know those people through that. Um, Make comments on some of their photos, and maybe connect to them through Facebook and Twitter, and you can start establishing relationships with other people that are considered experts. A lot of times, if you go over on Amazon, you can find an expert that's written a book, and a lot of times they will be sharing images over on some of the image sharing sites, and that would be a great way to connect with an expert that way, by telling them that you found their pictures over on Flickr or PhotoBucket or somewhere, and you'd like to connect to them and talk to them about a project that you'd like to work on with them. And that's just the image sharing sites. There's also lots of other Web 2.0 sites where you can do this as well, such as Tumblr, Pinterest, Google Plus, and Instagram, just a few. There's several others out there that they're more or less tailored to people sharing images. And of course, don't forget about the Facebook fan pages. Facebook fan pages get indexed by the Google and other search engines, so those are great places to share images as well. Like I said, image sharing is a little traffic method that's, I'll say little known. It is known quite a bit, I guess, but it's known mostly by the old method of trying to get people to find your images through the Google search, image search, which, like I showed you, is of little use other than a little small SEO boost. But it's way underutilized. People are using it the right way, creating a whole collection of pictures in a certain niche and trying to establish themselves as having, some sort of interest and authority in that niche. But now you guys know the secret to how to get it to work. Like I said, just start out your accounts, completely fill out your profiles, be sure to include your website, and if you have a Twitter and a Facebook account that's linked into those niches, be sure and link those accounts as well. And like I said, you'll start getting lots of people following you, and then like I said, you'll start getting contact from some of these people, and they will visit your website, and these are targeted people that are interested in your niche. You're going to find some people still yet that are wanting to use the images on their website, and you may have people contact you about that. Of course, when you're using some of these public photo sharing sites like Flickr and PhotoBucket and places like that, they are allowed unless you some of them you can mark images as not allowed to be shared, but for the most part, most of them can be used on other people's websites, but they do still yet supposed to give you the credit from where it came from. So that does help a little bit in as far as getting you a little bit of credibility and some traffic back to your profile on the image sharing site where the image came from. Okay, well, that was the little presentation I had for you guys tonight. Like I said, I get asked all the time about free ways to get traffic, and this is one that, not like I said, not many people are doing it, and the ones that do it just try it for a little bit and they don't do it the right way, so they don't see a lot of traffic out of it and they give up, or they're trying to do it the old method that came out a few years ago, and that doesn't work at all. Have any of you guys been using image sharing in any of your niches yet? Have any of you guys experimented with that yet? And there's also some softwares you can get that can automate it. I have a piece of software that I bought that will share images that will direct link back to a blog post, or basically any website, but I usually use it for blog posts, that will share the image, and it creates a direct link back to a website. And it shares the images on Pinterest, Google Plus, LinkedIn, and Facebook. It does all four of those. But it's an automated process. I just, tell it which image I want it to use and tell it the website, and it creates a little HTML page that I upload to my web server, and then I just post the link to that page that I've uploaded to my web server over on the various, like I said, the various networking sites, and it automatically pulls up that image as the profile image, and then it direct links to the page. But that's one way of automating it. It's a nifty little piece of software. Pinterest is really good for generating traffic, especially if you don't jump around and stay, pretty much targeted into one niche. You can create several different boards over on Pinterest. You can sub niche down and create, several different boards. But it's better if you try to stick to, one common overall broad niche type. Not diverse into, several different ones. Like I said, for each one of these, you'd want to create a new account for each one of them. You don't want to have, an account that has, just every niche thrown in it, because you're going to confuse people, because you're only allowed to have one website link in your profile to start with. Yeah, Pinterest is really good for food and fashion, home decorating, and crafts, and it appeals a lot more to women. Um, Babies do really well over there if you got anything to do with, if you're any kind of niche that involves children or babies. Toys works really well over there as well. And Michael says Instagram is great for traffic. Instagram is a great place to create a following. You can create a following over on Instagram really easy. It's fairly easy to do over on Pinterest as well, but not as easy as it is with Instagram. Dana says, how do you set up separate accounts in Pinterest? You have to use a different email address, and like if you've been through setting up a Pinterest account, you first have to apply, and they approve that you're allowed to get an account. So what you'd have to do is close out of the account that you're in and go back to it and apply with a different email address. And of course, you want to make that email address totally unrecognizable from any other email address that you have, so that they wouldn't see that you're creating multiple accounts. And it may be in some cases that you might need to wait a period of time before you do it. In other words, don't close out one account, log out of one account and then try to go back and start a new account within, just a few minutes. It may be best to wait a day or two, be logged out for a day or two, and then go to set up a new account. Weddings are really good as far as over on Pinterest as well. And of course on Instagram, wedding pictures do really well. And the wedding niche is a really, really big niche to be in. And we're getting ready to head into the hot season for it as well, if that's something you're considering. December through May is the hot season for weddings. Michael says, will IP address leave a footprint? Yes, it could, Michael. And there's ways of changing your IP address depending on how your ISP works. And there's also accounts that you can get that will change your IP address for you as well. You may want to look into some of that, and you can use proxy servers. There's paid and free proxy servers you can use that will change your IP address. The only problem with using proxy servers is they come back usually with a blank refer, and a lot of times that will stop you from getting an account set up over on Pinterest if the refer comes back blank. Be better off to use one of the other paid services that will change your IP address. And like I said, depending on the ISP you have and how you connect to the internet, you can do it sometimes through the hardware that you have at your house. It's a little technical to do it, but for instance with mine, I use a cable modem. I can go into the settings in my cable modem and make a change on the MAC address and restart the modem, and when I do that, Charter assigns me a new IP address because it sees it as a new connection. Although it's still coming from the charter.net domain, um, I have a different IP address. Yeah, Michael, like I said, that's a little bit of a technical way of switching IP addresses, is to do it through your hardware that you connect to the internet. And unless you are technical, I wouldn't recommend doing that, because you can go in and you can mess up the settings on your cable modem or your DSL modem and not be able to connect at all. So unless you know what you're doing, I wouldn't recommend doing that at all. You'd be better off to, like I said, um, use one of the paid services. There are several of them that you can use that will change IP addresses if you see that you need to do that. But for the most part, uh, this with Pinterest, for example, I have 5 different accounts there. And how I was able to do that is I would create an account, use it for a few days, then I would log out of the account and I'd wait a good 24 to 48 hours before I went back to create another account and just repeat that same process. And whenever I want to log into each one of them, like I said, what I do is I log out of it, stay logged out for 24 hours, and then the next after 24 hours so I can log into the other account. But give it a shot, guys. Like I said, it works really well, especially, like I said, if you're consistent about it. Um, you don't just share once and then give up on it and never come back. You'll get some traffic even from doing that, but, it'll eventually die out. If you do it on some sort of consistent basis, it doesn't take that long, to find 5 or 10 images a month that you could share. Um, just do it on some sort of consistent basis, and you'll start to see a steady following of people coming back to your website. Because once they see that you're posting consistently in the same niche, the same types of pictures, they'll become interested into checking out your profile. And like I said, once they go to your profile, they're going to click on your website link. Once they go to your website, if it's appealing enough for them, if there's information there that interests them, you'll be able from that point, get them to opt into a mailing list, or maybe even sell them a product. Or maybe if you're doing AdSense or Amazon, get them, to click some of the links for those. Michael's asking, is ClickMeter any good that you know of? ClickMeter is a click tracking program, and yeah, it's one of the better ones. I think you're talking about the tracking. Dana says that's what I was thinking. Amazon affiliate sales. Yeah, image sharing traffic is great for getting clicks back to Amazon links. It works good for um, AdSense too. Although I don't recommend anybody put up a website for AdSense anymore, because Google, once you start making a consistent income with it, they start really watching your traffic, and if they just deem it's even the least little bit shady, they'll shut your AdSense account down. So I wouldn't do image sharing for AdSense income at all. Okay, you guys have any more questions on the image sharing traffic before we go to the questions that we got in the emails this week? None? Okay. All right, well, let's go over our questions that I got in the emails this week. Got several this week. The first one says, how do you get review access to products? And I guess this is in reference to some of the emails that I've sent out where I said that I got review access. You can get review access to products in several different ways. First off is just by building, some sort of a connection or relationship with the product creator or owner, and just ask them, to get review access so that you can create, either some sort of review of the product or a video or something like that, or do a personal email about the product to your email list. And a lot of times they'll give you review access. Um, Another way of getting review access is on a lot of the major product launches. They'll usually have a JV section set up, and they'll have a mailing list opt-in where you can opt into their JV list. And a lot of times that first email you get from those joining those JV mailing lists, the first email will have a link to get a review access to the product. But the best way is, just to, like, especially over on the Warrior Forum and Facebook, just get to know some of those people, and when they come out with a new product or they're announcing that they're going to have one, you just ask them for one, and a lot of times they'll give you one. And you can do this with ClickBank products as well. You can contact somebody over on ClickBank and tell them, that you have a list built up in that niche and you'd like to have a review access to a product, and a lot of times they'll give it to you. The next question I've got it says, recently there was a program sold that helped you build a list through PaperLead. Have you ever used that method for list building? Does it work like they say it does? And I take it that you're asking about that recent product by Kevin Fahey, that list profit generator. It's a script that was being sold here a couple, 3 weeks ago. Well, it's been around, I guess, for about a year. Frank Salinas was the first one that came out with it, but Kevin just a couple weeks ago did some sort of a launch on it, even though, like I said, it's been around for a while. And what it done is the script automated doing PaperLead. Now, if you're not sure what PaperLead is where you offer people to advertise your squeeze page for you, and then if they get you any opt-ins, you give them 50 cents or $1 for every lead that they send you that opts into your list. Usually when you do those, if you're setting one up for yourself, to get people to send you traffic, you want to make sure double opt-in is turned on, because you want to get good quality leads, and you want to have some sort of geo targeting to where you can make sure that you're getting the type of leads that you want. Kevin's program was able to do that. It would geo target the traffic coming in. If it wasn't US, UK, or Canada, or Australia, it would redirect that traffic to a different page, and of course he didn't pay for those leads. Now if you're on the other end and you're sending traffic to somebody that's got a PaperLead program set up, it basically works that same way. The type of traffic you send them, they'll pay you different amounts for it. And like I said, the general, what people will pay is 50 cents to $1 for every lead that you send them. And I've done that in a few cases, and I actually own the script that Kevin was advertising. I bought it back in April. I've had it for a while, but I haven't set it up to use it yet. But I have, sent some traffic to PaperLead program just to get experience with them, see how well they work. And it does work. I mean, they will pay you if you send them good quality traffic. So, now as far as telling you how well it works with the traffic that you got on the other end, if you were setting it up for yourself, I couldn't tell you that, because like I said, I own the script, but I haven't set it up to use it yet. I really should do that, I guess, just to see what kind of traffic you do get from it, if it's good quality traffic. But I do know that if you're working with somebody, it is respectable, somebody that you can trust, they will pay you for it if you decide you want to try to, earn some money that way. The next question I got, and this one is actually a two-parter. It's about membership sites. It says, when one has a monthly automatic payment membership site, how do we add an annual option? Would that be a separate product in JVZoo or PayPal? Then the second part of it says, then would anything have to be done in the membership site itself, same member levels or add-on? Usually when you're setting up a membership site, most people think of membership sites as being a monthly residual thing or some sort of weekly residual, depending on how you're setting up your payments on them. But then a lot of times they'll offer, a discount for buying several months up ahead, like 6 months or a year. In the case of this question, they're asking about an annual account, which would be a year. And how it works with most of them, this is all the ones that I've dealt with. It's usually you're setting up a separate product for sale that has a different time span on when it expires. And it's usually, like I said, it's the same membership site, it's just a different time span on when it expires. And in most of the softwares that you set up, it's actually another product that you're setting up, which means you got to set up another product over on JVZoo or PayPal or whoever you're going to process your payments through. It's the same exact membership level access, it just has a different time span on when it expires. But yeah, it is separate products that you set up, and it's just, over on the JVZoo or PayPal site, you tell it how long the expiration is for it to renew for new payment. and you do basically the same type of setup on inside your membership site software. And the next question was, I have payments going through JVZoo. Should I set up an Aweber list through JVZoo settings page? And if so, would this interfere at all with the payment or membership site setup process? Again, this is asking about membership sites. My membership program also has an Aweber setup. Would it be better to set it up via that one? I'm thinking not both. It depends on how your membership site software handles registrations into your autoresponder. I know JVZoo, when you're setting up autoresponder integration over there, how it handles it is like Aweber, for example, you can subscribe to an Aweber list by sending an email. When you're setting up a list over on Aweber, it's usually the list name at aweber.com is the actual email address that you can use to sign up to that mailing list. And that's what JVZoo does, is when somebody makes a purchase and you've set up Aweber as your autoresponder, it sends an email to that Aweber list address. And that's why sometimes you'll hear during the checkout page, if they've got the audio version of the confirmation page turned on in Aweber, sometimes you'll hear during checkout somebody saying, your account, your sign up is almost complete, please check your inbox. You'll hear that in the background, and that's what they're doing. They've sent an email to the email sign up list. Now, JVZoo has an API, which, if you don't know what API means, stands for Automated Process Integration, where they can automatically add people into a mailing list and not have to have them confirmed, but it's only with GetResponse that you can do that with JVZoo. PayPal has API access for several of the different autoresponders, and I think Aweber and GetResponse are two of them that they have that for. But you have to get your API access information from inside your autoresponder account and set it up inside PayPal to be able to do that. Now, a lot of the membership site plugins, since we're asking about a membership site here, can also set up accounts through API. And again, it's going to require getting the details from your autoresponder to be able to do that. But like I said, it just really depends on how your membership site software or your program that that's handling the payment process and how it's going to handle setting up the accounts. If it's just going to send an email like JVZoo does, it would be a toss-up whichever way you want to go with it. But if it's going to use actual API access, I would set it up through the software that you're using instead of going through JVZoo, because that way you at least would get the information back through the program or the software, and it would actually set up the account and not have to have them double opt in. And the next question I got says, how do you feel these days about ad swaps for list building? Example given, safeswaps.com. Ad swaps are still great for list building, especially if you get with somebody that's actually going to participate and do what they say. You'll have a lot of people that you send that you'll do an ad swap with, and you'll send out your email and then they never send out theirs, or they have a really small list and they don't return back the same amount of traffic that you send them. Safe swaps, they're asking about safe swaps here. I've used safe swaps before, but I've never really found it to be that effective, to be honest with you. I've had just as good luck going on the Skype groups and Facebook groups and just connecting with people directly and asking them to do an ad swap. Even though Safe Swaps sets it up to where it's semi-automated, I guess, in that they'll actually create the schedule when you're both supposed to send. They'll send you, each one of you, the email that you've set up, to set up in your autoresponder. It's still, the person can cancel it, or they can have it not allow Safe Swaps to log into their autoresponder account to set up the email. So, I don't know that, it's of any real benefit to go to Safe Swaps for ad swaps, to tell you the truth. when I go to Safe Swaps, what I'm looking for there is to buy solo ads, not to do ad swaps. I just soon do ad swaps on a one-to-one personal level, connect to them through Skype or Facebook, and set up the deal that way. At least that way, uh, when you've actually connected with somebody and had a conversation with them, if they don't perform their part of the bargain, you can go back and you can contact them, say, hey, what's going on? Why didn't you do this? See, I think we got one more question here, then we'll go back to your guys' questions. Um, the last one says, can you really build your list with giveaways? What tips can you share about making them profitable? Example given, should you always upgrade? What kinds of products work best? How can you make the classifieds work? I guess we're talking about classifieds in a giveaway. Giveaways still work as far as building a list, although they don't build as quality of a list as they used to. But they are still a good way to build a list, and it's really cheap. I don't recommend upgrading in every single giveaway that you join. It just depends on who's actually hosting the giveaway. If I've heard of them, if I know they have a big list, they're going to be marketing to their list about the giveaway, then I'll consider upgrading. Or if I know the person that's hosting the giveaway, I'll consider upgrading. But for the most part, I don't always upgrade in them. Even though it's really cheap nowadays, it used to be really expensive to upgrade in the giveaways. Nowadays, you can do it for most of the time about $7. Sometimes, $5. We've even seen some as cheap as $5. But the only advantage really to upgrading is it does give you more slots for putting more gifts in the giveaway. Gives you more exposure. Um, so it does help in that, and it does put your gifts at the very top of the list as far as the listing of them. It's still, you could, even though you've got a paid account, an upgraded account, if somebody's sending a lot more traffic, you could still get your gift way down in the rankings because somebody else is sending a lot more traffic, and even free people can outdo somebody that's upgraded as far as those listings. The types of gifts that work best for a giveaway is usually something to do with list building, traffic generation, blogging, sometimes money methods, depends on what kind of money method it is. The things that seem to work the best is something where you're giving away a product that has resale rights or master resale rights. The only problem with master resale rights is most of the time, by the time a good product gets to the point where it's master resale rights, it's just everywhere. So it's pretty much saturated, and not many people want it at that point. It's the only caveat there is to master resale rights, that products get saturated pretty quick once they get the MRR tag on it. Resale rights is a little better in that somebody had to buy the resale rights before they could actually put it on there. But they do still work. Like I said, you don't get as good a quality list as you used to get from them. If I had to guess, the quality of list that you get from a giveaway is 10 to 20% of the people are actually going to be good list subscribers. Could go as high as 30%. Depends on, like I said, who's running the giveaway, and if they're going to send us their own list to the giveaway, as an incentive to get people to join as contributors. But yeah, they do still work. I participate in, not as many as I used to, but fairly often. I'll do one like every couple months. And in our list building masterclass this past summer, we all hosted our own giveaway. There was several of us that did that. So, I do those occasionally where I'll host one. I don't do those as often as I used to. I used to do those quite a bit. I've got a list that I built up just through giveaways doing hosted events. It's about 12,000 in size, something like that I've got in that list. And the traffic's click-through rates, I've seen it over the past year or so. It's just dwindling way down. Even though I'm not getting, bounces, they're not bad emails. The emails are being delivered. It's just, the most of the people that sign up for a giveaway event, they're there for the free gift. And like I said, you're only getting 10 to 20% of the people that are actually serious about wanting to get information from you. But yeah, I do still recommend giveaways. Um, it's just that, you need to have a huge list if you're going to build a list of giveaway to get a lot of response. You need to have participate in them regular, and build a huge list with it to get any kind of good response from it. Okay, that's the questions that we got in the emails. So I'll take your guys' questions now. Looks like Kay's got one here. When you post things in WordPress with an image, it collects them in the media library. What happens if you delete the images, or if there are multiple ones of the same image, or do we leave them alone? If you do different giveaways, because she's asking about giveaways. Let's go back to the image part she's asking about. Let's see, let me read that again. If you post things in WordPress with an image, it collects them in the media library. What happens if we delete the images? Well, if you still have the post in WordPress and you've deleted the images, it's going to show a broken image link. And actually, unless you're going to delete the post, I wouldn't delete the images. Of course, it can add up to a lot of images inside your media library after a period of time. My first original blog that I set up, I had over 8,000 posts in it, and a good third to 50% of them had images in it. So there was, several hundred, couple 3,000 images in that media library. So, it gets kind of confusing when you got that many images in there, but having that many images in your media library means you can recycle them and use them over and over again too. So it did help as far as that. Like I said, unless you're going to delete the post and you don't figure you'll ever want to use that image again, if it's an image that was proprietary to that post, I wouldn't delete them out of the library. Blogs are more efficient now than they used to be. So, even though there's taking up, disk space on your hosting account, they're not actually, bogging down your blog by having, a lot of images in the media library. And like I said, it gives you ample opportunity to reuse those images. Example of that blog I was telling you about, where I had the nearly 8,000 posts in it. I had several hundred images, I could recycle through for different posts. A post might have an image in it, and then a year later I might use that post for another image, or that image for another post. So, you can recycle a lot of images once you get a bunch of them in there. And then the second question Kay has is, if you do different giveaways, can you use the same package in them over and over again? And Roy says, I use the same gifts in different giveaways. Okay. Yeah, you can set up I have a text file, just a regular notepad text file, that I have the information for each gift. I have like 3 or 4 of them listed in there, and just each giveaway I join, I just use the same gifts over and over again, and until I decide to, cycle one of them out and put something a little newer in. But most of the time when I'm giving away, giveaway something that, it's some sort of free report or video or something that I've created myself. So, it's unique, they can't get it anywhere else. So, that's one reason why I do that. Now, when you're using things that you've been given, or maybe something that you've bought that has giveaway rights, eventually that kind of stuff reaches a saturation point and it gets to be old, and people don't want it anymore because there's just so much of it available. So that's when you need to cycle out and get something new. But yeah, each giveaway, you can list the same things over and over again in each one. There was one point in time when I was in, 3 and 4 different giveaways all running at the same time, and I'd have the same exact gifts listed in each one of them. Okay, do you guys have any other questions? Now's the time to ask if you got them. We've got no more questions and emails. I think I covered them all. One thing I want to tell you guys, and you've probably already been getting some emails on it, tomorrow there's another big product launch, and it's yet again another video product. You've probably already started getting a few, but tomorrow there'll be a bunch of emails about it. It's a product called Explaindio, and yeah, explain. Yeah, Roy knows about it. It's a combination of VideoMaker FX and Easy Sketch Pro. If you remember VideoMaker FX, it's the one that creates the little animated explainer type videos. And then, of course, last week's launch of Easy Sketch Pro is the program that creates the little doodle videos where somebody draws, the pictures and the words with a hand on the screen. This program combines both of those and does that. And it has a couple of neat little features. I've seen the demo video of it. Looks like it might be interesting. One thing I liked about it, it has a reverse effect on the hand where it's like it's behind a piece of glass doing the drawing. I thought that was pretty neat. And it can do the doodle sketch on a video that's actually playing in the background, so I thought that was pretty neat. But tomorrow you're going to get a bunch of emails about that, I'm sure. Like I said, they've been playing that up since Sunday, I guess, Saturday or Sunday. So it launches tomorrow around 11 o'clock, so you'll get a ton of emails about that tomorrow. Kay says, RE images and duplicates. I was thinking about Profit Builder. They give you multiple images of the same thing. Can we thin those out? I wouldn't think that they would give you the same exact images. There's got to be something a little different about them, probably different sizes. They may look the same as far as, WordPress only shows you a preview of the image and it probably looks exactly the same, but I bet it's probably different sizes. So I'd be careful about deleting them because you may be deleting out a size that you might need at some point in time. Mary says, I am already. Yeah, I've gotten several emails today about Explaindio. I'm probably going to get it because, that's mostly what I buy is utility type programs, so I'll probably get it. But like I said, that's the product launch for the week, so you'll probably see a bunch of them tomorrow. Maybe this will be the final one now that we've got one that does one thing, one that does another, now one that does both. Maybe this will be the end of the video programs for a while. Probably the next week it'll be programs about how to rank these videos and get people watching them. That'll probably be next week's product launch. Roy says, do you have any idea on the price of Explaindio? It's going to start out at $29 from what I hear. And then after, I can't remember, it's like a 2-hour price freeze, probably around, it's launching at 11 a.m. tomorrow, so probably around 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, they're going to start the dime sale on it, and it'll go up in price. But they're going to do a price freeze for the first 2 hours. Yeah, Mary's got it, $29.95 to $37. So it'll start the dime sale after the 2-hour price freeze, and it'll go up to $37. Like I said, if you've seen the demo video, it looks like it's going to be a fairly neat little program. Mary says, I just bought ESP2. ESP2 is a good little program. I've not got to create a video with it yet. I've played around with it quite a bit, but I haven't got to create a video with it yet. I'm still trying to figure out some of the settings in it. But I bought the first version when it came out in May, I think it was. And I created several videos with that one, but I haven't created Not a single video with version 2 yet. Of course, I've only had it less than a week. I've had other things to do. Hadn't had time to concentrate on playing around with some of these programs. Oh, and by the way, Roy, or whoever else might want to know, the way I understand it, um, Expandio is coming with a commercial license, so that's a little different from the other programs. Instead of having a single personal use license and a commercial license, it's going to come with a commercial license right off the bat. That's a little different spin on it too, I guess, them doing that. Okay, guys, well, we're running right at 9 o'clock now, about 5 minutes till. Do you guys have any more questions before we call tonight? Um, I hope I answered everybody's questions in their emails. I'll have the replay for you guys probably tomorrow evening sometime. But if there's no other questions, I guess we'll go ahead and call tonight. Thanks for coming again tonight, guys. Next week, I'm going to have another traffic method for you guys, one that I've been looking into that I've been gathering some material on. So next week, I'll have another little traffic method for you guys. So be sure and come back next week. Anyway, thanks for coming again tonight, guys. Have a great week. Like I said, look for all the emails tomorrow. You're going to get swamped with them. Looks like it's going to be a decent product. You know, I haven't got it. I didn't get review access to it, so I can't tell you that for sure. I'll be just like you guys buying a copy myself. But have a great night, guys, and I'll see you next week.